श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरि ओम ओम सहनावतु सहनो भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ओम शांति शांति शांति. So the next dharana is jñānaprakāśakaṃ sarvaṃ sarveṇātmā prakāśakaḥ. ekamekasvabhāvatvāt jñānaṃ vibhāvyate. jñānaprakāśakaṃ sarvaṃ jñānaprakāśakaṃ sarvaṃ ātmā caiva prakāśakaḥ. This reading is better. Evam ekasvabhāvatvāt jñānaṃ vibhāvyate. Okay. jñānaprakāśakaṃ sarvaṃ. What does this dharana say? Everything is illumined by knowledge, and that is illumined by the self. Since they are both of the same nature, we have to understand that the knowledge and the object of knowledge are one, identical. We have to meditate, focus on that. They are not different. What does that mean? jñānaprakāśātmakam sarvaṃ ātmā caiva prakāśakaḥ. That is the better reading, but in some places it says sarveṇātmā prakāśakaḥ. Okay, we'll understand. So jñānam prakāśakam sarvam, and there is one reading difference here, but shloka itself is different when it is quoted by Kshemarāja in his Vimarshini Tika. There is a commentary called Vimarshini on Shiva Sutra, called Shiva Sutra Vimarshini, we say it. Vimarshini is the name of the Tika actually. So there Kshemarāja, an exponent of this, he says, he explains this, he quotes this, and he gives a verbatim, he doesn't give an ad verbatim quote, he is just giving the gist of it. How does he say? jñānaprakāśakaṃ loke ātmā caiva prakāśakaḥ anayo aprasakbhāvāt jñāni vibhāvyate. Okay, so we'll understand it simultaneously. jñānam prakāśakaṃ sarvaṃ. jñānaprakāśakaṃ sarvaṃ. Sarvaṃ, he says loke. In the world, everything is illumined by knowledge. Sarvam means world. World means sarvam. Everything means world. What is other than self? The Bhairava. There is nothing other than Bhairava. When you say everything, you are referring only to the world. Okay? Bhairava is a non-dual. Okay. Now, the world, whatever you see in the world, that is illumined by the knowledge. Okay. Sarvam. Then, Atma cha eva prakāśakaḥ. And the self illumines that object, the knowledge. Okay, that is there is pot. I know pot. I don't know pot. Okay, that is, both are knowledge. Whether I know or I don't know, both are knowledge. Now, the atma, the self, the individual self, it is called as in logicians say, they accept jñānavijjanaḥ atma is the substratum for the knowledge. In Vedanta, they don't accept it as like that. But Shiva Sutra, the Shaiva Siddhanta and Tarkikas, logicians, they are also worshippers of Shiva. Therefore, probably that is the reason. So they both accept that the substratum for the knowledge is atma. jñānavijjanaḥ atma. Okay. Now, when the object exists, only when the object exists, the knowledge can take place. So the knowledge is dependent on the object. Without object, there is no knowledge. Okay, so the life giver for knowledge is the object. But if you see it in another way, in the dream or in the deep sleep, even in dream state, we have no knowledge of the external objects. They are as well redundant, useless. In a simple example, when I was in Rishikesh, I used to see we have this stupidity of not wasting anything. Why I call it stupidity, we'll understand. Not wasting anything. And we have learned in Tamil there is a proverb, Siru Turumbum Palkuttavadam, means even a small pick can be used for toothpicking, kind of something like that. Okay. Now everything has some use or other. That is the idea. So we don't throw it. I don't throw it. I just put it in a plastic packet. So it is a non-transparent plastic packet. The big thick packets which you used to have, I used to stuff all these items inside it. So year end, when you have to clean, normally it is like that. It's that there are lots of packets in the room. That's how it is. So now it's only boxes of books, and not those kind of packets. So I just lift up the packet and see, like they have this a story in Superman's book. When Superman lifts his spectacles, he can see through the wall, etc. Okay, so I can't see through the bag, but I just put it in front of me and try to visualize what exists in that bag. If I can visualize, if I can remember what exists in that bag, I just keep it. If I don't remember, I just throw it. Because if you don't remember, even if the object exists, it's not useful for you. That's the logic there. Anyway, okay. So the object exists, therefore the knowledge exists. The knowledge doesn't exist, therefore the object is redundant. You understand? So the object and knowledge are intertwined. They are dependent on each other. They are not independent. Object, knowledge. The knowledge presupposes object. The object presupposes knowledge. Both ways. Anyway, we'll understand it later. This is the idea. Now, next. Atma chaiva prakāśakaḥ. The Atma is the illuminer of that knowledge. The logicians call this tritiya linga parāmarṣah. Means the second level of knowledge. First level of knowledge is this is pot. Okay. So the second level of knowledge is I know the pot. This is pot is the knowledge. The second level of knowledge is I know the knowledge pot or I know the pot. So that is gained through the individual self, Atma. Atma means the one who is associated with all this or the one who is the substratum of this knowledge. Okay. Jiva, Atma, whatever. Now, evam ekamekasvabhāvatvāt. In this way, they are of one nature. And there he says, anayo aprithakbhavat. Since they both are not different, whether you say they are not different or they are of one nature, they are all same. Okay? So, they are of the same nature. Therefore, here he says, jñānaṃ vibhāvyate. See the knowledge and the object to be identical. There he says, see the knower and the knowledge to be identical. That's the difference. Okay. Let us keep this aside. We'll try to understand what this means. There is one shloka which says, yavan na vedaka yete. Vedaka yete tavat vedya katham priye vedakam vedyamekam tu tattam nastya ashuchistatah. Until there is no experiencer, where is the point of having the objects? Therefore, the experience of the knower and the object of knowledge, they are same. Therefore, there is nothing which is inauspicious or impure. Okay, that is establishing the object and knowledge and object are identical. Now we go to another shloka which is quoted by both the acharyas, both Bhattananda and Shivopadhyay quotes this beautiful shloka. Prakāśamanam na prathak prakāśāt sacha prakāśo na pratak vimarshat nānyo vimarsho ahamiti swarupat aham vimarshosmi jidekarupaha. This is a very beautiful shloka. Prakāśamanam, whatever is illumined, the objects, na pratak prakāśa, they are not different from the prakāśa, the knowledge. Whatever is illumined, they are not different from the illuminer, the knowledge. Okay? Then, sacha prakāśa, that illuminer, that knowledge, na pratak vimarshat, is not different from the vimarsha, the expanse of Bhairava, creation. See, object or the intellect, they exist only when there is a vimarsha. They are all part of vimarsha. I cannot say whatever I see externally is the vimarsha, not my body sense organ complex. Except my body sense organ complex, everything is vimarsha. That is not what we see. Except Bhairava, everything is vimarsha. Okay? So, that intellect which if illumines is not different from the vimarsha. Okay. Now, Nānyo vimarsho ahamiti swarupat. And that vimarsha, that expanse is identical, not different from the aham, I. And aham vimarsho asmi chidekarupa. I am that I am of the nature of that absolute consciousness, chidekarupa, that absolute knowledge or absolute consciousness. So, whatever is the object that is same as identical with the self. There is a logic which we say. The book is on the table and the table is on the ground. Therefore, the book is on the ground. A equal to B, B equal to C. Therefore, A equal to C. Similar logic. So, we see the object and the knowledge are identical. The knowledge and the expanse are identical. The expanse and the I are identical. Therefore, I am the conscious self. Okay? Now, this is a Shakta Upaya. This is Shakta Upaya. If you are going to see it from that way, it is a Shakta Upaya because you have to see the identity between the knowledge and the object or the knowledge and the knower. Okay. Now, if you don't see it in that way, if you see it as a teaching by the Guru, that there is nothing other than self, then it becomes an anupaya. Okay? Then, next. mānasaṃ cetanā śaktirātmā ceti catuṣṭayam yadā priye parikṣīṇaṃ tadā tadbhairavaṃ vapuḥ. mānasaṃ cetanā śaktirātmā ceti catuṣṭayam yadā he priye parikṣīṇaṃ tadā tadbhairavaṃ vapuḥ. Oh dear, oh devi, the mind, the intellect, the prana and the self, these four, when they subside, then the inherent nature of Bhairava manifests. Okay? Mānasaṃ. Mānasaṃ. Manasorbhavaha mānasaṃ. Mana eva mānasaṃ. You can take it as mana eva mānasaṃ. Mānasaṃ means the one which, the thought functions which spring from the mind. That is mānasaṃ. Okay? Or the mind itself is mānasaṃ. Mind itself is referred to as mānasaṃ. You don't have to think that sankalpa vikalpātmakam manaha, that is mānasaṃ. Sankalpa vikalpātmakam is mānasaṃ. Mind itself is mānasa. Okay? By mānasaṃ, he says the mind. Then cetanā. Cetanā means the consciousness, the intelligence. Buddhi, intellect. Okay? Then shakti. Buddhi is a jnana shakti. Therefore, this shakti which is referred to us is the kriya shakti, the prana shakti. Okay? Shakti, atma, and the self. Here the atma means the individual self, the limited knower or the one who has the embodiment, the jiva, okay? Individual self. So, these four, hey devi, yadā parikṣīṇaṃ, when they completely, paritah kṣīṇaṃ parikṣīṇaṃ, when they completely dissolve. When they completely dissolve means how? when you practice all these dharanas, they completely dissolve. So when they completely dissolve, then through the practice, through the focus, then tadbhairavaṃ vapuḥ, then the bhairava manifests. So here the sadhana can be accepted to as a dharana, can be accepted as a dharana, shakta dharana, which leads you to shambhava dharana, or when all these mind, intellect, individual self, or the prana, they subside, then you are of the nature of self. The guru teaches the superior disciple, then it becomes an anupaya. Okay, otherwise it is a shaktopaya. Now, so the 112 dharanas are over. Next he says, nistaraṅgopadeśānāṃ śatamuktaṃ samāsataḥ dvādaśābhyadhikaṃ devi yajñātvā jñānavijjanaḥ nistaraṅgopadeśānāṃ śatamuktaṃ samāsataḥ dvādaśābhyadhikaṃ he devi yajñātvā jñānavijjanaḥ. Hey Devi, oh Devi, understand the state which is thoughtless. Nistaranga means waveless state. The thoughtless state, for that, the mindless state, for that the upadeshas, the injunction, the initiation, the teaching are already given in brief through 112 dharanas. When you know this, meaning when you practice this, the person becomes the knower, the knowledgeable one. Okay, liberator. Nistaranga, taranga means wave. Nistaranga means waveless. Waveless means thoughtless. Thoughtless means mindless. So when there is a state of no mind, then because that is what is nirvikalpa samadhi means. Vikalpa is thought. So when there is no vikalpa, there is nirvikalpa. That is the nirvikalpa samadhi. So when a person gains the nirvikalpa samadhi, he gains the samadhi, the state called jñānaṃ mukti, liberated while alive. There are two states accepted here for liberation. One is jñānaṃ mukti, the other is videha mukti. Jñānaṃ mukti means one who is associated with the body sense organ complex, acting through the body sense organ complex. When he is liberated, that is called as jñānaṃ mukti. When that very liberated person, not the ignorant, when that very liberated person drops the body, when he dies, then that person is called as a videha mukta. Okay, that is videha mukti, not the ignorant when he dies. Only when the liberated one, when he dies, that is videha mukti. Okay, because we are practicing all this for what? For getting rid of the body sense organ complex association, for getting rid of the cycle of birth and death. So he says, samāsataḥ upadeśānāṃ, these initiations, these teachings. Samāsataḥ, in brief, śatamuktaṃ, 100 I said, not just 100. dvādaśābhyadhikaṃ śatamuktaṃ, 12 more greater than 100, means 112. So I have told you 112 dharanas to understand, to gain the state, mindless state, the thoughtless state. Yajñātvā, knowing which, normally in Vedanta, knowing is experiencing. Here, knowing is not experiencing. You have to know these dharanas and you have to practice these dharanas. Without practice, you will not be able to gain the state. So, when you practice jñānatvā, by knowing, by practicing, jñānavijjanaḥ, he becomes knowledgeable, a person of wisdom, meaning he becomes liberated. That janaha, that seeker, that person who practices, he becomes liberated. Okay, so here he concludes the 112 dharanas, upayas. We'll see. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.